Yes guys, good morning, welcome back to the channel. So it is 7:15, literally just about to make meal one and then I'll go for my little walk. But this is the current view. The past couple of days, I should have shown you this yesterday, but it's been like really foggy. Like yesterday, I actually came out and I was just like, whoa. You literally cannot see anything like beyond 10 meters in front of you. It was wild. I'm not even going to say it gave me UK vibes because we are not going that far, but still about maybe 20 degrees, which is just, oh, beautiful. Just the perfect temperature for a nice little pleasant morning walk. That is a new low just about hit this morning, just shy of dropping into the 61s, but I've had some issues again with my wisdom tooth, which just likes to give me grief every once in a while, which often sees my body weight just stick a little bit because I feel like one side of my face is just swollen. Not ideal, but in any case, we move. New low is new low, and definitely feel just that little bit tighter, which honestly I feel like once I go into this deload from tomorrow, once I train today, everything will just start to move forward a little bit more again once I've had that bit of a break. But I will say a couple of things to note, especially during the winter months, and some tips for getting the best progress pictures that you can, either for yourself or for your coach, because as a coach, genuinely, in the winter months, the quality of the pictures from the girls, they tend to get a little bit ropey. They get darker and darker and darker to the point where it's just like you can just see a silhouette in a dark room, which is not ideal. You need to make sure that you can actually see what's going on. So a few quick tips. One, get a tripod for your pictures. Make sure you set it around the same height every time. I think hip height is perfect. So if you set it around your hip height, do that every time and keep the angle the same. Try and find like natural light. So like obviously I have fortunate enough to have like the big French doors, I suppose is what you would call them. If you have like either something similar to this, or even in front of a window, or even in like a door frame, like that would work. Like even if it's probably not your front door, but even your back door, so the natural light is coming in onto you, that works better, just because you'll always get better lighting from natural light, especially if you are fortunate enough to have natural light during the summer months. Obviously that gets a little bit harder in the winter. So if you are trying to get up and get your pictures taken early in the morning before the sun gets up, if you go to work, gets up before the sun comes up, before you go to work, which I know that a lot of my girls do, you almost want to pick up either a ring light or even better, a studio box, because a studio box is a lot brighter. So you'll get better lighting off the back of the studio box, just given that it's just a bit more powerful. And then I would also turn off the lights in the room, so you only have the studio box only lighting you. So fasted, obviously first thing in the morning is always the most accurate time to take pictures, just because then you can keep it consistent every single day. Make sure as well that if you're using your phone, which I'm sure the majority of you will be, to take your progress pictures, make sure that it's on the maximum quality settings, using the back camera to take the pictures and not the front camera, because the front camera quality, especially on the older iPhones, is just not great, and you'll get this weird fuzziness around your body. Everything will look sort of very grainy. So always use the back camera. That's a key tip as well. The quality of your pictures will improve so much just from doing that alone. So there's a few tips for you that will allow you to track your progress so much more accurately. So today, kind of exciting day. Probably say that every time I come on here, but actually no, that's not true, because most days are just really boring. It's like the same shit every day. Every day is Groundhog Day when it comes to me most of the time. But I do have one of my clients who is currently over in Dubai, so we are going to get a session in together, glutes of course, and I have a client, Emily, who is currently out visiting a friend in Dubai. So she is here for I think just over a week, and we're actually gonna meet up for legs, glutes of course, at Dungeon this morning. So I think she's gonna come here first and we're gonna take her to the gym. because I don't think she's too far from where we are currently staying. But Emily has been such a trooper over the past while, because she has only not, I think it was about 2-3 months ago now, she had surgery on her shoulder. She has been rehabbing that diligently over the past while, and she's got to a point now where we're able to get a little bit more blood back into that side. We are able to still hit the glutes quite hard, anything that obviously doesn't involve her holding like a barbell or a dumbbell. So we're going to work around it today. My 12 grams of salt that I weighed out this morning, just going to drop a couple of grams into there. Okay, so we have acquired Emily on the way to, en route to the gym now, for some glutes and hams, which I think we'll do session wise. Well, you'll see the session anyway, but hip thrust machine to start off with. I think it will be an RDL with dumbbells, probably banded. I'm gonna suss the session out, see what's in my dog book, and then we'll go from there, because I have adjusted like the past couple of sessions that I've done ever so slightly, because I know that I'm just on the cusp of needing a deload, which will probably be next week, because I'm pushing that back a couple of days just to train over the weekend and the back end of this week. So I think it'll be alright though. I think I'll be okay just to absolutely smash myself, seeing as I have like a few days off coming up. But yeah, I'm looking forward to getting stuck into this. So we'll have pre-workout now and just get into the headspace on the way to the gym. Okay, so to get stuck into some snippets of the session, I'm not going to put the full session in here, just down to the fact that I'm pretty sure I've done a good bit of session talk-throughs, walkthroughs, whatever you want to call them, over the past like few weeks now. But with that being said, I did want the opportunity just to go through a couple of bits and pieces that I think were quite valuable from this session. So Emily here hasn't actually done a glute cable press down before, so this is what I'm going through with her as our first exercise of the session, given that it was a glute session. So here you'll see me at the beginning literally just to come across and just cued her knee a little bit more in and across her body, because what she was doing before was almost having the knee almost come like almost to the outside of her rib cage. Now, when we are trying to work the glutes effectively, we actually want that knee to travel a little bit more in towards midline, so it's almost crossing in front of us to actually get the glute to wrap around the hip a little bit better. So I just wanted to explain that, because I thought that that would be a good tip for you guys. If you haven't done those before, I really would recommend them. They are definitely one of my favorite like sort of more glute isolations to do now. We then did a banded around the hip RDL, which I think I might have covered with you guys last week. When I was training with Lisa and Gillian, etc. I did them single leg that particular week, whereas I'm doing them double leg this week, and they are definitely a fantastic movement as well for glutes. If you do have some sort of RDL variation in, it just adds a little bit more tension as you bring the hips through to the top, just having the band around the hips. I actually had Emily do these single leg, and she only holds just the one dumbbell in the one hand, which you'll notice. And again, just to preface, the reason why that is because she has only fairly recently had shoulder surgery, so she can't yet hold any weight in that arm. So that's why we've had to modify a lot of her exercises and her training to make that work for her, because at the end of the day, like, it's not easy having to work around these things, and I know that she still wants to make progress, and she's just been such a trooper with just doing what she can. So any modifications that we've been able to make just to make sure that she can still go in and have productive sessions, we've made. For her, the band was just a little bit on the low side because I'm a very short gal and Emily is a little bit taller than me, so I had to just move the band up a little bit more so it's a bit more hip height for her. So here obviously you can see her using just the one arm and the other one's just out for balance. It's just along for the ride, but these actually look really good. I think one thing that we've worked on a lot when she sent me over videos before of her training is when she does these, she struggles to keep her knee over her heel. So oftentimes I'll actually see as she shifts her hips back, her knee will travel actually back behind her heel, and everything will just start to move back behind the center of gravity that we want to have over like the midfoot. So her weight will almost shift back to her heel. So with these, you have to keep in mind that it's not about shifting the weight to the heel. It's about keeping like almost a vertical shin, knee over the heel, center of mass over the midfoot, and an even foot pressure throughout, still trying to really press through the ball of your foot and your big toe with these as well is a good cue. So yeah, these are hard work. That is without a doubt. So definitely just give them a little go. Give those cable press downs a go, and you can thank me later, ladies. It is now the afternoon. It's 4:30, I think. I've just had my fourth meal, so I've just got one more left for the evening. Emily actually came back to the apartment with us, and then she got a taxi from here back to her friends where she's staying. That was a really, really good session. I think I killed her off a little bit, but that's what we want. It wasn't, this thing is what I was saying to her, is like, we don't actually need like a whole bunch of sets and reps for a session to be productive or difficult. Like when you know how to train properly, when you know how to train hard, and when you obviously follow the principles of like progressive overload and training with intensity and accuracy, you'd be surprised by how little overall volume, as in like sets, reps, in the total session that you actually need. Like I think that across the session that we had today, we did press down to hip thrust to, we must have done like 10 to 12 sets across that whole session, and that you leave the gym broken when you when you train hard. And for a lot of people, 10 to 12 sets is not that much. The thing is the longer you train for, the more experienced you get. You actually don't really need as much volume because you train better. You put your body under more stress, you give it more stimulus because of that experience you have behind you, which means that you then don't need as much volume as, say, for example, when you started off training and you were sort of like Bambi on ice. So literally, just because a session might not look like a lot on paper does not mean that it's not still very challenging when you train it the right way, which is why I always love to have my girls train with me as well, because I feel like I'm able to sort of get that next level out of them, tweak a few things. Like we went through a couple of things that she hadn't actually gone through before with myself, because obviously as much as the girls get training videos over, there are some movements they haven't yet been programmed yet, or maybe certain things that they haven't yet got over to me in videos, so we were able to go through those. And all together, just setting her up for a really productive run. She actually took a few deload days before this because she was feeling pretty battered. And hopefully soon enough, she'll be back being able to use that other shoulder a little bit better. She was also kind enough actually to bring me over a couple of my grunt EAAs, which is unreal because I can't find these here because they're literally sold out everywhere. So I was like, oh, you're an absolute angel. And she bought me probably about like 90% dark chocolate lint bars as well. So absolute angel. Appreciate her so much. Just bringing good energy all the time, she is, and just a joy to train with. She takes everything on board. It's always amazing when you see someone really want to learn and take on feedback and just have a really just good time as well. Like just actually enjoy the session, because in the day, you know, we haven't caught up some time. We train hard, but we also have a good laugh and we catch up in the interim as well. Looking forward to the weekend. I love a good weekend reset, to be fair, and just getting on top of everything ahead of the new week, which will be really exciting. I also have the Rise team shoot for 2026 to really start organising and get a bit more of a timeline locked in for a few of my girls that are looking to do it. Hey Aisha, good morning, how are you?
How are you? It's probably not your morning.
Oh no, actually, well, we're not far out. It's like 1 o'clock. I'm only 4 hours ahead of you. The thing that kind of springs to mind is that idea of like, okay, just putting it on the back burner and no urgency. Because I think that when you know as well that obviously we've had so many weeks, especially whenever we kind of start up, it's like you see such a solid amount of progress in the weeks that you are actually consistent. Sometimes I almost feel like it can be very easy to get complacent when you don't have that discomfort of how you feel when you start to be driving you forward as much. Like once you get to that point where you're around sort of 52, 53, it's not as uncomfortable as what it was like 56, 57. So then when you start to coast a little bit, but then also I feel like you put things on the back burner when things do start to get harder. Let's say, for example, at work, when you're feeling more tired, the weather is shit, you're like, you know, tired after a longer day. And I don't want to say this to like, this is, I'll often have like a lot of girls who will come to me and talk to me about the fact that, you know, they had a really long day at work, they don't want to go to the gym, they don't feel motivated. And honestly, Aisha, like, I've been in that boat myself so many times, because even before I lived here, and I was doing the miserable winters and having to show up. I've trained.
You're in the fun now.
I've trained for like over a decade, and I still would get up in the morning and be like, I don't feel like I want to go in every single time I train. Like, I think that people get that idea that I do, but I really, really don't. And same with the other girls as well. It's like, and I don't say, like, I never say it in terms of comparing someone doing one thing compared to another. But the way I like to see it is, if I have a day where I'm like, I don't want to go in and train. And this is what I'll say to the other girls as well when they tell me that they're not motivated. But I've got clients too that will come off the back of a 12-hour night and they'll go straight to the gym. And I'm like, if they can do it, I can do it. So you know what I mean? So it's just like, it's about the urgency and the priority that, like, how much that means to you. Okay guys, so just picking the camera back up again after quite a busy day yesterday, obviously with Emily. I had a call which you would have seen a little snippet of just there with one of my girls, Aisha. I think this time of year, I have definitely noticed, especially those that are living in the UK and Ireland, that mood definitely does slump a little bit for many people. I think it's always harder when the nights draw in, you're getting less daylight, it's cold, it's wet, it's miserable. Obviously the situation at the moment in the UK is pretty terrible. I think everyone's just understandably a little bit depressed. Yeah, it's definitely not great. And I think where a lot of that lower mood, lower energy sort of starts to creep in, that does lead to some lower motivation as well, especially when it comes to your physique goals. You're wrapping up more, it's harder for you to get out to the gym after work or in the morning. And sometimes we see more of these weeks that people just tend to drop the ball a little bit, because we're only human at the end of the day. So I've just had a little call with her there and a little chat as I suppose like an intervention, just to give her a little bit of a kick, work through some issues that she had with her time management, and basically really dive a bit deeper into where she was mainly struggling, and also into how to optimize her routine a little bit better, because that's where she just ended up losing a lot of time, procrastinating, not quite finding things were clicking within something that worked well for her, let's say, and how she managed her days outside of work with her training and her steps, and where she was putting her time where, basically. I always do what I can to give them support that they need. Jumping on a call and really talking through the nitty gritty of how their days look. I literally got on the call with her, I was like, right, tell me how you're going to work your days from now on, once we had run through everything. And she spoke about exactly, right, this is what we're going to do, this is what we're going to change, and then we have an action plan going forward, so we actually have urgency, and it doesn't then become this like almost comfort blanket complacency of being, I'll do it tomorrow, I'll do it next week. Not to mention, I've also had a midweek update from my client Yas, who checked in this morning because I asked her to do a little midweek update just ahead of this weekend, because she had a really busy weekend, and we knew that we would have to kind of bank a lot of her steps and training towards this week because she's babysitting this weekend. So, which obviously happens. Not every week is going to be like a super routine week, and we just work around it to the best of our ability, because that's just life. So she's checked in today at 72.7 kilos. She started, and I'll put transformation up for you here, she started with me at 92.7 kilos. She, like, as of today, she is exactly 20 kilos, that's over 40 pounds down, which is unbelievable. Like, that is a what the fuck transformation is what I call it. She's been killing it. She's been so consistent. She's been loving the process, everything. And when Yaz and I started working together, she was actually in a position where there were a lot of things in her life that were, it almost felt like things were crumbling around her. And she was really struggling mentally. There were things going wrong left, right, and centre. She was going through a really hard time, relationships breaking down, and she's just not in a good spot when we started. And to see her just totally 180 her life around, I'm just there like, wow, like, huge respect, because she took something shit and she turned it into something amazing for herself. And because she's been doing this, and because she's now so much more confident, she's training on a regular basis, she's building the person that she wants to be, she is literally attracting positive things to her. Like, her relationships around her have never been better. She has a job that she finally really actually enjoys after, having worked before that she hated. Everything is coming into alignment because of this one change that she's made for herself. It's crazy how much by taking care of yourself and committing to yourself and building your confidence and building who you want to be and then aligning your actions with them, how much everything starts to fall into place and everything aligns. So it's not just fitness, it has a massive carryover to everything in your life. And she has 180'd it from a place where she was like almost rock bottom to a place where she is just buzzing every single check-in for the progress she's making, because she should be, and she is, and I tell her every time, you should be so proud of yourself, because I'm super proud of her. 20 kilos is unreal, and yeah, I just have no words. And I think she will also be doing the group shoot next year, which will be amazing. So anyways, I'm going to leave it there before I get too excited. But I just love seeing people win. That said, if you are interested in my coaching services and becoming part of Rise, or you just want to find out a little bit more information, head to the link in the description box below. You can drop over an inquiry there and I will be back to you with a few more details with how I work, like what the coaching process will look like, and also I'll break it down specifically for you and how it relates to you and what our goals would be going forward, our main things that we would need to work on to get you to where we want to be. With that being said, I will leave you guys and girls, and I will chat to you in the next video. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you so much. Like, share, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.